Hi, I'm Barbara McRae.
And I'm Bob Spinozzi.
Welcome to Littleton Common, and thank you so much for sharing your time with us today. Can you believe it's 2009?
I wish we could go like that and make time stop.
I know. Well, do you remember when we were kids watching movies that it was like, what was it, 2001 Space Odyssey?
2001 Space Odyssey, I saw that in 1968.
Yes, and there was another movie that I saw that was like 1999, and they always had these. By then, we were going to have aliens, we were going to have certain spaceships, we were going to have all this stuff going on, and here it is, 2009, and we haven't seen it yet, but
no.
Maybe that's a good thing, I don't know. I haven't seen any aliens, have you?
Nope.
I think I've known a few.
Nope, I haven't.
But I don't know. Yeah. Okay, well, the other thing is, we do have a new president now, Barack Obama. And, you know, it looks like he has some visions for our country that he hopes he can take care of.
Can you imagine going into a worse situation, though, Barbara? I mean, it's a literal hornet's nest with the economy the way it is, the war, and just everything.
I know.
All the job losses.
It's like, who would want to be president right now? But he looks like he's determined. And so I don't care if you're a Republican, a Democrat, or whatever, it's time to, you know, hope that the new president can do something.
Let's just go forward and let's make things right again.
Yep. You know, this year, you and I and Mark lost our mothers.
Yep.
Mark's mom, Mary Crory, passed away, and my mom passed away, she was 94, and your mom was, what, 100 and something?
Yeah.
So, you think we're going to have those genes? I don't know. I feel like 94 sometimes, but I don't know if I'll make it to 94. But 100, imagine that. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
So,
true story.
And what about the ice storm that we've had in December? That was a Lulu.
And we talked about this before the camera went on. You were out for how many days?
We lost our power for 5 days.
I had no idea what was going on, Barbara. We didn't lose our power. I'm embarrassed to say.
La, la, la. I don't want to hear that. We sat by the fireplace, and, you know, I kind of liked it. It was quiet, and you didn't have to do anything, just kind of cuddled in a blanket.
For the first day, anyway.
Yeah, my husband wasn't too thrilled about, you know, being cold like that. But we had fabulous neighbors. What happened to us was a tree in our yard knocked the wires completely off of our house.
Wow.
And so we had nothing. Now, we were okay until all the lights went on the street, except for our house. Our neighbor came over and said, how are you doing? And Alan said, I was doing fine until I saw your lights go on, because we were going to be without ours for a while. We actually had to call in an electrician, the cable company, and then Littleton Light came and connected us. We had to go through all those people before we could be connected again. But our neighbors, Kathy and Tom Coughlin, offered us a few rooms to use in their house to stay warm. And, you know, we thank you very much, Kathy and Tom. We didn't need to use it that particular time, but they did do that. And then Dennis Henry across the street offered us a place to stay for, you know, a few days. So we went there one night. So neighbors were great.
Isn't that great?
They were fabulous. And then, excuse me, we lost some branches, and Dennis came over and cleared them away for us. We're going to have to probably take those trees down now, but still, he was there, and the neighbors were there, and that felt, we went to Pam and Alex Campbell's for dinner one night. I mean, you know.
So, in a way, it was kind of like camping, kind of.
Yeah, getting to know your neighbors again.
And we are so fortunate. I tell you what, kudos to the Littleton Light Department.
Yes.
Unbelievable job that they did, restoring power to everyone in town.
Yeah, yeah. And I understand that now people are buying generators, but they can be pretty dangerous, so it's a good idea to maybe talk to the fire department or someone that really knows what they're doing, or read your directions carefully if you're going to get a generator. I mean, everyone's saying it's a good idea, especially since this winter started out the way it did.
I was at maybe about the third day into the power outage. I was in the Harwood Station post office, and a woman was telling a woman from Harvard came in,
Yeah.
and she was telling everyone how she had to go to all the way to West Roxbury just to locate a generator
See?
for her house. So, boy, I'm telling you, scarcer than a hen's tooth for some people.
Yeah, yeah. My husband doesn't seem to want a generator. He's kind of leery of them. But I'm thinking that it might be a good idea. But, you know, if you do what you're supposed to do with it, I guess it's
Yeah.
safe.
Well, yeah, Mark had one.
Yeah, yeah.
Mark had to get one.
Another thing that is important is to have a survival kit. And I was talking to some people about that, and maybe I'm going to tell you a little bit about that right now. I'm not going to give you everything that's in a survival kit, but these are some of the things that it might be nice to have. And, you know, Fire Chief Carter has prepared a list anyway, and you can look up, let's see, you can look it on the library's website, www.littletonlibrary.org. But if you don't have a way to see this online, then we can give you a short list right now. And later on, another time, Bob and I are going to do a show on this storm and emergencies and what to do. We're going to talk to different people about that and help you out a little bit. So first of all, you should have bottled water. I mean, that's a given. We know we should have that. And you should have non-perishable packaged or canned food, and a hand-operated can opener, which I still have. I think it's good exercise. One of the good exercise things. You should have blankets, a first aid kit, extra eyeglasses, and hopefully I'll have a pair in there that I can find because I'm always losing mine. Battery-operated radio and a flashlight. Plenty of batteries. Plenty of batteries.
Make sure they work, too.
Yeah. Keep changing them once in a while. If you don't use that kit this year, next year maybe change your batteries again.
We actually have a battery tester at home, so
We do
I check it out with that. But
And that's good. And you ought to have a list of family physicians, a list of medical devices and medication you will need. But the list goes on and on. Most of all, place these things, I would place them in a plastic container with a cover, in a place that I would find easily enough if there was an emergency. So don't put it someplace and forget about it. Someone told me that they use a basket for their emergency kit. The only thing I thought of is you put it in a place and it gets wet. The basket's not going to help you out.
Right.
So maybe these plastic containers with a cover, and for that matter, it probably would float if there was water in your basement. So we will talk about this another time because Marnie Oakes, our librarian, and I talked about collecting stories from the storm. And this way we'd have, 20 years or 100 years from now, we would have a record of what happened and how people survived this storm. So we've started collecting these stories already. The word is out that we would also like to have people come to the library so that we can tape anything that they have to offer about not losing power or losing it. And if you're interested in contributing your experience to this so-called time capsule, write to Ice Storm, Reuben Hoare Library, 41 Shattuck Street, Littleton, Mass. 01460. Or email your story to icestorm@bjtrm@aol.com. And we'd love to see photos too, so if you have pictures and a story to tell. One gal wrote a story to me telling me I don't have a story. I didn't know it was even happening. I live probably over near the high school, I think. And she said, I didn't even know it was going on. I talked to someone in Leominster and they told me that it was going on. So I was happy to hear that. I think that should go in a time capsule also. Especially, maybe from different sections of town, why and what. But I hope we get a lot of mail.
But it was an earth-jarring experience. I mean, this was in many ways far worse than the blizzard of '78.
Yeah.
Obviously, people were without electricity for days.
Yeah, yeah. But sometimes you can have like a party. '78, we had a neighborhood party, and I think I heard other stories like
Find
that.
the best of the situation.
This is hard to have a party if you don't have your electricity, though, or anything. But Anyway, hopefully it'll be the only storm of its kind this winter, huh? And because of this winter and how cold it was, some people are going to need assistance with heating bills. And so right now, in January, the Council on Aging office will be taking applications for the Salvation Army's Good Neighbor Energy Fund. And let me read what they do right here. This is our broadcaster, our senior broadcaster, and it has the information in there. Sometimes people don't read it, so I'm going to read it right now. That it says here, in January 2009, we begin taking applications for the Salvation Army's Good Neighbor Energy Fund. This program has guidelines from 60% to 80% of the state medium income guidelines. A one-person family must have a gross annual income between $27,876 to $37,168. A two-person family income must be between $36,453 to $48,605. And for more information, you can visit neighbor.org. It's www.magoodneighbor.org. So, Bob, we're thinking of shows for the new year.
One show that I'd like to, we can talk about that a little bit later. We are going to do a show on the ice storm, though.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, we are. I hope that, the shows we have planned will be entertaining for our audience. I think that so far we've had some pretty interesting things, and we haven't had to go far to get them.
Right.
They're right here in Littleton. People don't understand that there are good stories right here in Littleton, and we've been able to get some of them. And I'm sure there's many more out there, so...
Well, there is one that I kind of missed from last year. As you all know, the Patriots couldn't qualify for the playoffs, but our Littleton Tigers sure did. They not only qualified for the playoffs, they made it to the Super Bowl. For the first time in school history, the football team won 11 games, and that's a heck of a story, and congratulations, guys.
Yeah, that's great. Proud to be here for that. If you have anything that you're interested in and you want us to investigate or use on a future show, please call us. Please call us. Don't be afraid to talk to us about it. And you can call 978-263-7905 or email bjtrm@aol.com. And, we'll try to work it into our schedule. So, thanks, Bob. I'm so glad you came today.
I'm glad to be here.
And I'll be seeing you on Small Town.
We'll be doing some stuff together later on in the year as well.
Sure.
Thank you, Barbara.
Good. I hope you had a wonderful holiday and that you've recovered. Did you get some good deals afterwards? Our outreach coordinator, Tina Mater, will be hosting the Living Alone support group on Thursday, January 15th at 10:30 a.m. The speaker will be from the Isle at Emerald Court, an assisted living facility in Tewksbury. Topic is brain health. Oh boy, we all need that, don't we? Call Tina Mater at 486-0183 for a reservation or for more information. Anne-Marie Rouse held her caregivers support group on January 8th at the Senior Diner. Dr. Rachel Movitz, clinical psychologist, was the speaker. Anne-Marie hosts these caregiver support groups each month. If you have a parent or a loved one who needs your attention, you might want to attend these meetings. It's a good place to share ideas with other caregivers. Minuteman Senior Services provides free in-home consultations for seniors age 60 and older. I have something here from our senior newsletter that I want to talk about as far as Minuteman is concerned. Services range from adult day health, chore service, companions, meals on wheels, housekeeping, laundry service, and personal care, and much more. But please call 978-263-8720 for more information and guidelines. There will be a blood pressure clinic on Tuesday, January 13th at 11 a.m. at the Senior Diner. With the economy so low right now, we will be looking for many outlets for our seniors. This will include medication, food stamps, dental services, and information about Medicare. We have all of these answers right here at the Council on Aging. So call Carolyn Sloboda at 952-2362 or Tina Mader at 486-0183 for information. You can find out where to go or what to use by reading our monthly newsletter, The Senior Broadcaster. And even if you're not a senior, you may want this newsletter so you know what to do for an elder family member or even a friend. If you don't receive the newsletter, please call our office at 952-2362 and have them put you on the list. It's tax time again, oh boy. And if you need assistance, Tony Jasinski will be glad to help you out. Tony helps our seniors with preparing federal and state forms. His schedule will be posted in February, and remember, this service is free, but look for his schedule. Also, our Shine officer, Bob Selling, is here to offer assistance and counseling to elders and other Medicare beneficiaries, plus confidential health care information. This is also free of charge, so you can find out more about both of these services and make an appointment by calling 952-2362. Right now, let's hear from Gail Doughton and what the Out to Lunch Bunch will be enjoying from the menu at the diner this month. Hi, Gail.
Hello, Barbara. Happy New Year's, everybody. Welcome to 2009. At the Senior Diner for the month of January. The birthday lunch will be January 14th, so make sure you call in to make your reservations. And remember, if you're celebrating a birthday, Minuteman Senior Services will pay for your free lunch, and you come down and the Consolidated provides a beautiful birthday cake. And we'll be closed on January 19th because that's Martin Luther King Day. The men's breakfast will be Wednesday the 21st, so make sure you come on down. And also, Barbara Campbell would like me to remind you that the Explorers Club will be meeting on January 27th upstairs in the game room. Bob Stetson will be putting on a travel log on the river cruises, and that's from 10 to 12. And we're encouraging everybody in the Explorers Club to come downstairs to the Senior Diner to have lunch that day. It will be chicken marsala, mashed potatoes, and we'd love to have everyone come down here and stay warm for the month of January.
Please come to the ladies' and men's breakfast. The food is really delicious, and so is the company. Both lunch and breakfast are only $2 each, so just come because you can't beat that price. With the help of the Church of the Latter-day Saints, the Unitarian Church and St. Anne's Church hold a neighborhood supper at the Congregational Church every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. There is no charge, and this is such a wonderful community supper that you should go. They would love to see you. The Congregational Church also holds a bingo afternoon. This month, it was held on January 8th. Look for it again next month. St. Anne's Parish holds its bingo and birthday party Thursday, January 15th, and that's at 1 p.m. The Council on Aging game room is still active with Mahjong, Scrabble, Cribbage, Bridge, and Wii. Drop in and check out the happenings and join one of these groups. You really will enjoy them. It's kind of also a cozy, warm place to be. Carolyn Harlow invites you to join the Book of the Month Club. And this month, the book is Redeeming Love by Francine Rivers. This club meets in the library at 10 o'clock in the morning, the second Wednesday of each month. They also would love to see you, so take a little trip over there and see them. Don't forget our line dancing on Mondays at 10, stretch and flex classes on Tuesday, and Thursday mornings at 11:15. Exercise classes with Phyllis is on Tuesday and Thursday afternoons at 1 p.m. Yoga classes on Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. And computer classes every Wednesday and Friday in room 222. But this class is by appointment only. The Friends of the Council on Aging are planning a Super Bowl party. Our game room with our 52-inch screen will be just the place to watch the winning team. I'm sorry it's not the Patriots, but pick a team and come in and cheer for it. And there'll be snacks. We know the game starts late, so if you just want to come in for a pre-bowl party, we will be open at 1 p.m. Oh, excuse me, I mean 4 p.m. Stay as long as you like and enjoy the company of friends for the game. Now here is Evan Theovalakis with news from Indian Hill Music Center. It's good to see you, Evan Thea.
So Barbara, we've got a really big concert this month, January, the Orchestra of Indian Hill's Winter Concert. We're calling it America in Words and Music because it's got a couple of pieces where we've got narration and actors performing for us. This is Sunday, January 18th at 3 p.m. over at Littleton High School. The Orchestra of Indian Hill, Bruce Hangen conducting. Featured piece is Peter Boyer's Ellis Island, The Dream of America, in collaboration with Merrimack Repertory Theater. We've got actors narrating the stories of 7 different immigrants who were coming to America, and it's a very, very moving piece. And also, Schwantner's New Morning for the World, a tribute piece to Martin Luther King Jr., with excerpts from some of his most famous speeches, and we'll have Robert Honeysucker as narrator for that, and also music of Stravinsky and others. And again, this is Sunday, January 18th at Littleton High School. For tickets, call 486-9524 or check online, indianhillmusic.org. And that afternoon, it's also our pre-concert tea, 1 p.m. here at Indian Hill. And reservations are required for that. So please give us a call and don't miss Indian Hill, Orchestra of Indian Hill's Winter Concert, January 18th.
Some people have asked if the Council on Aging would be willing to share their large television screen with anyone in town who is interested in watching the inauguration. For those of you who would like to see it, we will be having an open door at the Shattuck Street Council on Aging starting at 11 a.m. Tuesday, January 20th. So drop in, come in early, and go to lunch at the Senior Diner. But if you are coming to lunch, you do have to sign up 2 days in advance. Bob Stetson will be our guide for the explorers in the Council on Aging's television room and game room, number 230, on January 27th at 10 o'clock in the morning. He will be doing a travel log on river cruises. Let's see what Lynn Lyford has at the New England Forestry Foundation. Hi, Lynn.
Thank you, Barbara, and Happy New Year to you all. Although it's cold on some days, it's still great to get out and take a walk on the woods. And you know, there's nothing more beautiful than freshly fallen snow on trees, or more fun than to see animal tracks in the snow and figure out what kind of animal it is. I would encourage you to come out and see one of Neff's forests and take a walk. There are a whole group in and around Littleton. Providing these services and some of our educational programs are not free, and I'd encourage you to become a member of the New England Forestry Foundation. It's only $40 a year, and if you become a member, you get a copy of this magazine. It's called Northern Woodlands. Many of our members tell me it's the best magazine they get. It's yours free as a Neff member. All you need to do is go online, www.newenglandforestry.org, and you can become a member online, and also you can take a look at where all our forests are in the region. Again, that's www.newenglandforestry.org. So go online, look at where our forests are, become a member. I look forward to seeing you out in the woods. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Now, news from the thrift shop, of course. I want to let our customers who shop on Fridays know that Jenny Thomas, our sweet volunteer, is in the hospital. She has pneumonia and is at Neshoba Hospital, room number 305. If you'd like to send a card, go ahead and send it to Neshoba Hospital. Ellen Arugio will be sitting in for Jenny while she is out, and I hope she gets well soon. We have the best volunteers at the thrift, and now we have a new mannequin, Cynthia Stone. Yes, she has a name. Joyce Halloran purchased Cynthia years ago at a yard sale, and recently she donated her to us. Come in and check out the latest outfits that Cynthia will be wearing. She is beautiful, and she does make our clothes look special. Come on in and look around. We have such a great selection, and we have many satisfied customers. We want to show off the beautiful things we have at our thrifts, so on Sunday afternoon, February 15th, we will be hosting a thrift shop fashion show. The charge will be $2. These shows are such fun, so please come in and join us. That's Sunday, February 15th, and that's at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Today our guests are Pamela Campbell and Charlie Ellis. How many times have you heard people say, when I am a senior, I hope I can live in my own house forever? And who wouldn't want that? Especially, when we want to save a little money, too. These days our seniors are healthier and younger in spirit. They want to stay that way, just so they can live at home forever. Or, so to speak, live independently. Charlie and Pamela have decided that they have many of the solutions for you to do just that. So let's hear what these entrepreneurs have in mind for you. So, hi Pamela and Charlie, I'm so glad to have you here today. Live Independently is the name of your business, correct?
Yes.
So how did you two decide to get into this field?
It started a few years ago. Pamela and her husband Alex own a historical site home in town, and as she was looking for someone to help her rejuvenate this beautiful house, we fell into a conversation, and from that point we started to collaborate on different areas of the house. Very successful collaboration. Projects were on time. They were beautifully orchestrated with the direction of two people. So it was a nice melding of the construction and the vision of what had to be done. Mm-hmm. And from those different projects, we've grown into a good friendship, a good understanding of how we want to see things done. And I think both of us have lived in town long enough where we feel that we're at a point in time in our lives where we should be taking some of our expertise and kind of helping some other people enjoy life as long as they want to stay in their home. Mm-hmm. And that's basically where this came from.
Mm. Things really crystallized, Barbara, though, when my husband had his knee replacement surgery. And he was in the hospital, 10 days in the hospital, and they were ready to send him home.
Yep.
And I had gone through all the things that I needed to do at home. My background is as an occupational therapist, so I knew how to set things up so that he could easily get to the things that he needed to get to. I made sure that he'd be accessible to the downstairs bathroom. And then I realized that the hardest thing was going to be to get him up the back steps, because we had steps up onto our porch with no railing. Mm-hmm. And I called Charlie. So Charlie, I got a panic situation here. I need a railing for my back porch.
Yep.
And Charlie came over that day, put it up. Alex went right up into the house, and then he could go in and out on his own all the time because he was on crutches with the knee replacement. And that's when Charlie and I started talking about, we could work together. We've worked together so well on these projects.
Yep. We
could work together to really help other people in similar situations.
Well, I think I just heard a key word there too, or a couple of words there, and that was occupational therapist. Okay, so having that background, and then the background that you have, Charlie, that must have, kind of brought in this blend.
It was kind of two different worlds kind of coming together and two different viewpoints.
Mm-hmm. Very synergistically.
Right.
Yes.
But both of us had an open mind about how to approach this. And in doing so, we ran across a program, unbeknownst to us at the time, that was being sponsored by the National Home Builders Association and AARP at the same time. Those two organizations had combined their resources together, and what they were trying to do, as we were thinking about this, is to bring occupational therapists together with contractors. Because you need the blend of both worlds to understand what can be done and how it can be done effectively in somebody's home. And so we signed up for the courses and started to take the courses, and we both have come through those courses now. And part of this from AARP was their overview of people should stay in their homes as long as possible, and you should be comfortable and enjoy your life and
be safe.
And be safe as an alternative to going to a residential facility or a senior housing area. People have tried that, and the national norm is to come back to your home, where your friends are, where the local church is, where you can go see your children and your grandchildren play soccer. I mean, all of that's important.
Sure.
Or come to the mill site and see your friends that you've aged with, through the years you've lived in town.
Right, right. Yeah, and that probably keeps you healthier too.
I think so.
Being able to imagine that I'm well enough and I can stay home. You're not going to put me in assisted living and I said that like you're not going to put me there, because it's not that we go there automatically.
Right.
It is a feeling that your family is saying you need to be someplace safe.
But you've hit an important point, Barbara. People who go into nursing homes or who even just go in for hospitalizations, they find that they decline very, very quickly when they're out of their normal circumstances.
Right.
People who stay in their own communities, stay in familiar surroundings, whether we're talking about dementia or we're talking about physical problems, they physically stay healthier and mentally stay more sharp when they're with their own community that they're familiar with. Like Charlie mentioned, the idea of being able to go to your own church, see your own friends, go to your local COA, your local meal site, whatever. They definitely do better, live longer, and are happier. Quality of life is a real important piece.
Right, and I was just thinking of something else that we did not discuss the last time, and that was that, okay, maybe you're living in your home, but you have a child who's 50 or 60 living with you, and maybe this person feels safer when they're not in the house, if you can get around pretty well, or if they can bring you around easier. I mean, it just occurred to me that as a person who takes, maybe takes care of a parent.
Well, Charlie and I are talking to people who want to stay in their homes. We're also talking to their children who want to help them to stay in their homes. We're talking to people who are thinking ahead about perhaps they have a chronic illness, and they know that in the future they're going to have some limitations around mobility.
Right.
Things are not going to be as easy for them. So essentially the service that we offer is, as an occupational therapist, I do an assessment, look at a person's home, identify problem areas, listen to what they say to me are the things that they're most concerned about. Are they most worried about, say, getting from their car into the house when it's icy? Are they concerned about being able to use their kitchen safely and without being hurt? And then from that, a set of recommendations comes out. I work with Charlie to work up an estimate on that, and then the person can choose what they would like us to do.
What are
and Charlie
some of the
can do
things?
it. Charlie can do it so that it's safe and it's to code
Right.
and works properly.
And so, name some of the things that you might suggest.
Well, one example that quickly comes to mind is very simple, but can be a great source of frustration for people, and that's doorknobs. As you begin to age and you have arthritis, or if you have any kind of hand surgery, or any sort of a situation where you only have one hand, perhaps you're in a sling, or just even carrying groceries and things, a round doorknob can often become quite difficult to turn. Very easy for us to change those out to a paddle doorknob that not only can you use it with your hand, but if you had to, you could use it with your elbow.
Right.
Just much easier for someone to get a door open in that fashion than to struggle with a round doorknob. And that can be both inside the home and also for your entrance.
Some of the other areas of concern would be where to put hand rails and hand holes that are comfortable and convenient. And I say that and this goes back to universal design, which is something that Pamela and I have always talked about. When you're talking about some of these items that can be incorporated into somebody's home, what first came to my mind was the sterileness of a hospital.
Right.
Just very, very crisp, critical design, no feeling, no warmth there.
Yeah.
Very clinical. And universal design, if you look at that and you incorporate that into the mindset, you don't have to make your living room or your bedroom into a cold, clinical setting.
Good.
There are ways to do things that make it a much more comfortable, inviting atmosphere.
And yet it's still safe and it still is functional.
Well, I think, I'm going to let you go on, but I'm listening to you saying, yeah, that would be a worry for me.
Right.
I don't want, I like to see the house decorated. So I don't want to think I'm living in a nursing home if I put too many things in there. So I'd want it to go with
Well, some of the recommendations that I make to people are not necessarily to do anything that involves building,
Right.
but to replan things, move things, make more space. Mobility
Yep.
and falling is, of course, a huge problem.
Yeah.
Falls and injuries from falls are one of the things that often lead to a real decline in a person's health.
Right.
You know, the old classic breaking a hip
Yeah.
kind of situation.
Yeah.
So another danger area in older homes, and this is certainly true of my home, between the rooms are thresholds, wooden thresholds, which are very easy for someone to catch a toe on, or if you're using crutches or using a walker, to catch that on. Those can be taken up, labeled, put away, and then put down later if you want to resell the house and restore that kind of historic character.
Right. That's
And
important.
another problem, Charlie mentioned the idea of grab rails, is just straight out handrails outside.
Right.
You know, home doesn't stop at the door.
No.
No.
People need to get in and out. They need to come from their mailbox,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
nothing else,
Yeah.
or go outside for activities, gardening or what have you, and also being able to get in and out of vehicles. And
Right, well, like
out
I
of the
told you, and
driveway.
you know, that I have a railing, the whole side of my garage. Because we come out that door, and you're walking along a little sidewalk, and it goes like right at the end. It just kind of slants down a little bit, and Alan has slipped and fallen there. My mother fell there. So the railing came in very handy because you can hold that right along the building and
Right.
and it wasn't because of anyone elderly that I did that. It was because I thought, oh, this might be a safe thing to do.
Right.
And you know, for a grab rail for climbing stairs, if you've ever had the situation, and I had it myself, I pulled a muscle in my leg and I was on crutches. Even one stair can be quite daunting when you're trying to deal with crutches. And think of it, you wind up in the hospital, you fall, you twist an ankle or what have you, you're on crutches. Now you're a new person on crutches. It's not like you've had 2 years of practice on it.
That's right.
So even a single stair can be very difficult.
Oh, yeah.
A railing, just what you need.
There are some simple ramping techniques that could be incorporated into going from one level of a house to another level. With Pamela's introductory survey that we review and look at, there are some of the things that pop into mind. And this is the great strength of this, is that she's looking at things as an OT. And, you know, the old adage is that the doctor's children always have the runny nose.
Yeah.
You know, you never have time to take care of yourself, but you can do everybody else a favor and try to help them.
Right.
So with her clinical ability to look at how you're moving, how you're walking, what you're doing, that's an asset to me to look at. We should put a ramp here. And working in conjunction, it could be as simple as putting new lighting in. So that a walkway is lit. It could be
Or lighting with a motion detector.
motion detectors in the house, so as you come down the hallway, that would work in
That's a good
conjunction
idea.
with movement. Changing some appliances for ease of using those appliances, whether it's a stove or a washer, dishwasher. Changing out electrical switches from up and down to a paddle switch, which you can use an elbow to turn the light on and off with. All of these little things add up to how your life is lived and the comfortableness that you feel in your own environment.
And you know, Charlie, everyone wants to believe that they're not going to be limited in any fashion, and yet it can happen so quickly. We have friends in town who, she went in for a hip replacement, and she was supposed to be with a walker for a couple of weeks, and that was all that was going to happen. And instead, there were problems, and she wound up with a year in a wheelchair. when you're in the wheelchair is not the time that you want to have the guy coming in widening the doorway to your bathroom because you discover that you cannot get the wheelchair in at all through the bathroom door, which is so vital to be able to take care of yourself, to not have to depend on others. You know, like I said, we all like to believe that we're not in any way going to run up against problems, but you can have an accident in just a blink of an eye and suddenly be on crutches. Suddenly have to use a cane, suddenly have to use a walker, maybe only temporarily.
You were just making me think of the door, also a wheelchair going up over the threshold in the doorway too.
Right.
I just pictured this person going home and you know, trying to get over that threshold.
And you think about the typical bathroom. You know, there are many things that we can do really easily. Not that something a person can do on their own, but that Charlie as a contractor can do to make life simpler. The standard sink with the cabinet around it is very hard to get a wheelchair up to so that you can reach the faucets. Even with a walker, it's difficult to get up close enough. But you take that out and you put in a pedestal style sink, and now you've got that space underneath where you can get up and under the sink. Handheld shower. Swap out from a mounted shower to a handheld shower and a seat for a person, and then they can sit down and they can safely bathe themselves. And you know, that's back to the name of the company, Live Independently. We want to help people to be independent as long as possible. And people who are interested should check out our website,
Absolutely.
which is independent-homeliving.com. And there we show examples of what we're talking about, and it talks about Charlie and I and how we came together to do this company, and also has some links out to places like AARP and the Certified Aging in Place Specialist Program, the CAPS program.
Which is a CAPS program, which we're both finished with now and certified. One of the things that I want to add to this discussion is that, you know, we talked about universal design, and you know, immediately when you hear OT, contractor, you start thinking money.
Yeah.
You know, what's this going to cost? Where's this going? And part of that is, and I want to share this with people because you need to understand that once the initial survey is done and Pamela has done her walkthrough and looked at how you know, react and live in your environment and how you feel about this environment, and you know, as she's watching and talking to you, a story is built. And from that point of view, you know, it came to a point where we had some folks who were talking to us, and they wanted to put a bathroom on the second floor of their house because they were getting a little older, the steps were getting a lot tougher in the middle of the night, the floor was colder, and we talked about this a little bit. And because of the work that Pamela had done with the survey and had gone through and seen how they were living, our recommendation was, let's move the bedroom from the second floor to the first floor and not put a bathroom in. And do some slightly smaller renovations on the first floor instead of incurring that huge cost of a bathroom on the second floor. So that when the kids come to visit, they can sleep upstairs. And they can deal with the steps.
They can run up and down the stairs.
So, you know, we're also thinking about cost-effective ways to do things. We recently were talking with one of our clients, and it was an interesting discussion. There was some questions about widening a bathroom door. We don't necessarily have to do a complete renovation to widen a door. There are some techniques and ways that we can do that without really destroying the whole infrastructure of the house. And in talking with this person about their home and what was going on and how to save the door sills between the rooms, the story started to evolve. And the story came down to the biggest concern right off the get-go was winter was coming. And the biggest concern was, I have to keep this oil inlet filler shoveled. And unfortunately, it's right under the roof where the peaks come together and the snow slides off, and it's 6 feet deep. And do you know anyone who can shovel this out for me and keep it open so that I know that my oil is going to be on time and I won't have any problems?
Right.
And he also told us that he had someone who was supposed to do the shoveling,
Right.
but sometimes he didn't come.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It was clearly something that was really on his mind.
Yeah, very, very tough decisions. How do we handle this? And our solution, after thinking about all this, was let's just move the oil inlet pipe to the other side of the house so that when the driveway is plowed and that person comes to plow the driveway, they're also paid to do the front steps into the house. And we can situate this pipe so that you don't have to worry about it anymore.
See?
And so the truck could also pull into the driveway
Wow.
instead of having to stop on the street.
Oh, that's great.
Simple
other side.
solutions sometimes are the best way to do things.
Yeah.
The other advantage that I found working with Pamela is it gives me a better insight into how people actually move and relate to their environment. And building that together with the construction background has been tremendous beneficial to both of us, I think.
Yeah.
But the benefit of the courses we've taken and the backgrounds that we have that we're bringing forward, and with the support that AARP is giving to this particular program, this is not only for people who want to age in place. You know, anyone who has an affliction, a physical disability, you know, this is what this is geared for, is to enhance your lifestyle.
Anyone who's been diagnosed with a progressive illness like ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, multiple sclerosis, anyone who has had a stroke and knows that they are likely to continue to have strokes, people with heart disorders, COPD, obstructive pulmonary disorders, they know that as time passes, things are going to become more difficult for them. So what Charlie and I offer is the opportunity to think about it now and make a plan. And out of our assessment, Charlie's talked about, you know, we have a variety of suggestions that we make to people. We also can phase that. So these are the most important suggestions. And now here are some others that you could do a little later. And maybe in a year or two, maybe right now you're not having any difficulty with walking, although you have a trip problem because you have MS. But let's talk about what you're going to need to do to stay in this house using a wheelchair. And not just stay in the house. I keep coming back to this idea that, you know, people have a life. So I want a person to be able to get in and out of the house on their own without having to have someone help them all the time. If they like to garden, get out in the garden. Be able to get out onto the patio, get out onto the deck.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's so critical as far as quality of life, is your normal everyday routines, being able to maintain those and feeling good about doing that.
And that's what occupational therapy is all about. Helping people to live
Other
their
than the
life.
occupational therapy side of it, I'm glad that you're using a woman to help, because I think sometimes we should help builders. Because, you know, sometimes we feel like, well, a guy did this, and so he forgot this piece. And so I'm watching this going, oh, this is a good idea, you know, because
Simple thing that's been going between us for the last couple of years is form follows function, or function follows form. And what it means is it gives us the ability to create together and to bring something all the way so it's finished. And it's universal design, so that if you're left-handed, right-handed, if you're male, female, you're going to feel comfortable in that environment. And it's really a great strength. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's a great asset. And, you know...
And as a licensed contractor, Charlie makes sure that things get done right.
Absolutely.
That they're done according to code. You know, we talked about ramps. If you build a ramp, you have to have a building permit. You know, and that has to be done according to code. But we also offer people the opportunity to lease a ramp from us. We have an aluminum freestanding ramp with handrails.
That's good.
For someone who just temporarily needs a ramp.
That's very
Don't
good.
need a permit for that.
Very good, because
So,
that's
you know,
important. You don't want a
we
ramp.
bring some expertise to this.
And
to
some
help
people don't want a ramp on their house forever. They, you know, they know that they only needed a short time, and so
Most ramps are going anywhere between $7,000 to $15,000 now.
Oh my gosh.
Because for every inch in height, you have to have a foot of run. So if it's 20 inches off the ground, that ramp has to be 20 feet long.
Wow. Oh
And
my
think
gosh.
about that.
Yeah. Just a quick question, and that's about stairs, going upstairs. You mentioned the people, now they're downstairs. But what if they're staying upstairs. Do you have solutions for that?
Definitely.
Absolutely. We have stair climbers that can be installed.
Okay.
Anything that is on the market can be used to support anyone in any environment that they want to stay in.
Okay.
I'm a firm believer that if you need to stay on the second floor, then that's where you need to stay.
Yeah.
There is an option, which you can talk about those options.
Yeah.
But the bottom line, I mean, we're here to help you. So it's your decision on how the quality of life is going to be and how it's going to work. And
We present you with solutions.
Okay.
And then
That's
you
the bottom
get to
line.
choose. And solution is a real important word for
Yeah.
us. We're not vendors. We're not trying to sell you gadgets.
no.
We know who the vendors are, and we know where we can get what you need. But we want to present you with solutions to solve your problems.
Good.
That's exactly where we're at.
Good.
You know, one of the scariest things, I think, is that when you're under the pressure, under the gun, to make decisions, as Pamela had to make, you know, how am I going to get my husband in the house?
Right.
She was fortunate enough to have somebody to call who responded.
Right. Well, that's the other thing.
But what happens when you don't have that ability, and you know now you're at a supply house, and you have this long laundry list that you're looking at, and how do you make the determination of what you actually need? You know, part
And
of
that's the last thing that you want to be worrying
That's
about
the
when
last
you're trying to
thing,
get
yeah.
someone home who's not feeling well, and you're trying to get their prescriptions filled and
Yeah.
make them comfortable.
Right. You want it ready.
And you know, part of this is that, you know, I'm 5'9", I weigh 165 pounds, somewhere around there. Well, my body weight and height corresponds to the length of my arm, where I need to have that hand grip, so that I feel comfortable, whether it's in the shower, in the bathroom, shaving, going up 2 steps. You know, code says 36 inches, but that doesn't mean we can't put another railing in that's going to be measured and fit directly to what you need for yourself. And that's easy enough to accomplish. So there's the other part of solving the solution, giving the solution to a problem.
Well, hopefully, and I think that you gave a lot of solutions today, and I hope they were listening over here. But I want to thank you for being on the show and bringing all this information to us, and I hope that, you know, I wish you well. But wouldn't you really like to live independently as long as you can? Well, take care of yourself, think positively, and you might want to call Pamela or Charlie to see what your needs are to stay in your own home. But in the meantime, stay well and don't forget to hug a senior.